last time on the curse of the giant gourd.
Curse of the giant gourd.
Mhm.
I don't like the sound of that.
It's for the festival of the gourd or whatever it is this time around.
It was Hallowed Eve's Harvest.
Right.
Yeah, because we need more spooky in our spooky forest.
Always.
You guys excited for like the scary Halloween world to have a scary Halloween?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's kind of coming up, isn't it? Are you going to do something special for the scary Halloween?
Are you asking me as the DM or are you asking? I mean, yeah.
I don't know who else I would ask.
Like
Who else would know?
in the game?
They're we're like Hallowed Eve Harvest is happening. It's a thing.
Yes, but I mean
Someone-
later in like 2 real months.
Oh, like, are we? Oh, like, do I have anything planned? No, I don't plan that far out. No.
That's fair.
Anyways, who remembers what happened?
I typed it all out.
Nate does.
You took notes, Nate. Tell us what happened.
We arrive at the tavern in the evening after the initial dress order. The hunters provided the tavern with fresh wolf steak, which was made into a stew. Ez asks how we managed to earn the town's favor. Ez tells us about silver's importance and shows an interest in the Order of the Silver Dragon. We make a prolonged transaction with Zoldar and Yevgeny for the pelt at a fair price. Ramis is very upset about this. The next morning, we visit the dressmaker and ask her to adhere to our new plan and make our way to Lydia's place for the next act in our dresscapades. Ez stays outside.
I love that there was like an hour and a half of session and that's everything you did.
That is literally all that happened.
Well, we couldn't do that much. We didn't have McKenna.
Yeah, so they
We
just
had to
like
stretch it out.
talked a lot.
Okay.
It
We
was
had to
great.
stretch it.
It was actually really great. That was a fun session. You guys were just shooting the shit with the wolf hunters. Okay. So you last arrived outside of the burgomaster's mansion where you saw a giant gourd in the foyer. You also did notice that Ez stayed behind and did not want to enter the house. The rest of you went inside and a maid that you recognize escorts you to the den area. As you walk through the entrance hall and vestibule of the house, you see again, you notice the framed portraits that are adorning the walls of the foyer. There is a very peculiar portrait that you notice that depicts the Baron, his family, including Lydia and Victor, as well as their ancestors. Who has the highest passive perception?
The elf.
It's USB.
I'm 17.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have HDMI?
I think mine's 9.
Oh, that's an adapter. Clever girl. Hold on, we're gonna.
I definitely don't have the highest.
I think it might be Syndra.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
17.
It's definitely Syndra.
Syndra notices that some of the people portrayed in the photo, in the portrait, look very much alike.
Clones.
Like they look like twins or they just look like they're related?
You're gonna see my notes.
Yeah, but no.
Okay. You won't look at my notes?
No.
Okay.
I'll just look at this.
Great.
Yeah.
You can do that. You won't notice all the pictures. Alrighty. So yeah, that is what you noticed. Sorry, and what did you say?
Do they look like they're all related, or do they look like they're twins? Or like a bunch of
They definitely
Oh,
look related, but they look related in the way that is too related.
incest? No? Not that kind of related?
I can't confirm or deny. You notice a picture.
Wouldn't they
Roll
stop
for an
it?
incest check, McKenna.
Yeah.
They look more alike than just ancestors. They have a eerie similarity.
Okay.
Okay.
Tight. No wonder they're so threatened by Ramis. He's the blood.
You blood. His seed is too strong. Anyways. So you are ushered into the through the entrance hall and the vestibule into the dining area. You hear the chatter of female voices as you approach the room. As soon as you reach the entrance of the room, you look inside and you see the same dining room that was there, affixed with a beautiful chandelier of raw iron fitted with wax candles. The polished wooden dining table has seated around it 8 women of various ages, and they are seated in comfortable high-back chairs. They're wearing faded clothes, and many of them are stitching together costumes. So you are led to this room to mingle and wait for the Baroness to arrive.
Ramis will mill about inspecting the costumes, like hands behind his back.
Bug will look for any food.
Like what are the costumes of?
Do they all look the same, or are they unique?
The costumes all look unique and all have different characteristics. The costumes are children's costumes.
Oh, Ramis is gonna find out if they fit him.
The costumes have creepy faces and are stitched into various shapes, sizes, and colors that resemble little ghosts, pumpkins,
Aw,
and skeletons. No vampires, though.
makes sense.
So it's getting spooky. They're definitely in on it, helping out.
Yes, that is a very scary one. I swear.
Session, did you guys find anything else about the coming festival? Like, is anything in particular supposed to happen? Do we know anything about like the ceremonies or anything like that?
Do you want me to read you the poster again? Because I will.
No, so
That's
literally,
okay.
like Nate's notes were spot on. Like that was all that happened.
Everything.
Like 100% of the.
They bought a wolf pelt off of Zoldar
It took like 20 minutes.
and they went to bed.
Right, right.
But you know what? We got an average price for that wolf pup. So
That's
It was
true.
very average,
Good job.
which is good in Barovia. Average is great. Yeah.
we
Yeah,
busted our
average
asses.
is cheap.
Uh,
Oh, I didn't mention that we asked the other dressmaker woman to integrate the lovely wolf pelt that we got into the dress to add a little bit of uniqueness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you forgot that bit.
Ooh.
I needed to be thorough. I'm sorry.
The fur lining,
Failed everyone.
the fur lining, the fur trim.
the dress with the fur.
Yeah, we could.
Apple bottom dress.
Apple bottom jeans. Yes, with fur.
Whole tavern's looking at her. Sorry.
Old Strahd's
So
looking.
easy.
Next thing you know, flesh column got low. All right, can we move on?
Well, glad you asked
This is
about
like
that though,
the worst
McKenna.
dad joke ever.
Can
We
we
needed
keep
to stretch
going?
that one out.
Okay. So you are waiting there for several minutes. Ramis is inspecting the costumes very cordially with his hands went. Very creepy. Well done.
Humming a little tune.
Humming a tune.
Like.
Oh, I'll be right back. I just heard something.
Skeletons. Shivers down my spine.
As he's walking around.
Eventually you hear some chattering noise outside of the dining hall and you hear a familiar voice. You hear Lydia's voice.
Oh,
McKenna stepped away for a second. She heard something.
Should we all sit and stare at her cube until
Yeah.
she comes back?
Yeah.
It's the benefit of wearing these headsets. We can just leave, go to the bathroom, still listen to you guys. while we're eating.
Or if we leave and like someone pops out and murders us, we can like say the name. And I
Yeah.
hope you guys.
And then
chase
I'll
down
know
there.
who's coming to kill me.
Yeah,
ahead of time.
unfortunately, I am closer to the front door, so I will be killed first.
that's assuming they use the front door, Josh.
Yeah, what if they use
We're on the 8th floor.
We could scale the wall.
What,
They're that determined to murder.
Spider-Man doesn't.
You know what? If they scale the wall to kill us, they earned it.
Yeah.
True.
We must have done something real fucked up.
Okay. So you hear Lydia's voice outside of the room. And you hear her speaking to an unknown party. You can't quite make out what they're saying, but you hear her voice.
Ramis's humming will lower.
You still can't make out.
Damn
what
it.
they're saying. It's an interactive story. I'm pausing to allow you guys to decide to do whatever you want to do. If you want to do
Ramis is
anything.
just milling about waiting for the.
You can just hang out. That's
wait for the
cool.
wedding.
But I'm pausing to give you space to do something besides just hanging out if you want to. That's
You
all.
said the ladies were like chattering around, right? Are they like chit chatting?
Yeah, they're chit-chatting with each other.
What are they talking about?
Yeah, what are they talking about? I want to eavesdrop.
How handsome Ramis is?
It's all
Probably.
non-distinctive unless you choose to sort of, eavesdrop or tune into a specific conversation.
Just making the rounds, trying to catch the gist.
You hear chatter of the upcoming festival.
Hmm.
You hear thoughts of measurements and designs. And you hear a couple of the women speak about lunch and how hungry they are.
If only Zug hadn't already eaten all the cucumber sandwiches.
I already
Ate those
scoped them
cucumber
out.
sandwiches days ago. There are new cucumber sandwiches.
And I ate those. When we
Yeah,
stepped in, I told you I went straight for the sandwiches.
They're not here yet, but Zug's nose can probably identify that cucumber sandwiches might be on the way.
Could I sneak over to the doorway that I hear Lydia behind to see if I can eavesdrop on her conversation?
Yeah, you can just walk over to the doorway.
I will do that
You can sneak if you want to.
casually.
Casually, you casually meander over to the
Yeah.
doorway to listen closer to Lydia's conversation.
Yeah.
You hear a man with a sharp voice say, this one will go in the stocks. And you hear Lydia respond and she says, what exactly is her crime? And you hear the man respond and he says, we've cited her for malicious unhappiness. Lydia says,
Malicious unhappiness.
Lydia replies and she says, all right, do what you must. And you hear the sound of multiple pairs of footsteps leaving the hallway. And Lydia abruptly appears in the room and comes nearly face to face with Sindra. Lydia, upon seeing Sindra, smiles nervously. And she says, It is so good to see you. And she says, come, come, you must be here for the dress. And she hurriedly ushers you towards the back staircase through the kitchen.
Cool. I would wave to our party and follow her.
As the party leaves the hallway, you see down the other end of the hallway, 2 guards holding and restraining a young woman, a very young woman, can't be more than 16 years old. She is quite slender and she is not fighting back. They're ushering her out of the house. And you piece together that this is who Lydia was speaking to, was the guards. Lydia takes you up the staircase towards the room that contains her wedding dress. So the staircase climbs to a gallery that stretches the length of the mansion. You remember this, you've seen it before. There's some beautiful paintings of landscapes that are lining the walls. And there's 2 narrow hallways that lead in either direction. She takes you down the hallway to your left, which is towards the back of the mansion. You eventually make it to the room that has the bridal gown. And the room smells as you remember. You remember that this room smelled of fine perfume, and it still smells of fine perfume as if no time has passed. The same vanity mirror that you saw, the same mirror with the vanity that you had seen before, stands against one wall. The faceless wooden mannequin is wearing that beautiful white bridal gown. The white gown that is sitting on the mannequin looks pristine. It looks as if it has never been worn before. Lydia looks at it and she stares at it for a while and says nothing.
Ramis will be like, the most beautiful dress. When were you and the burgomaster wed? And he'll kind of like inspect around it, like up and down, smile.
She laughs at your comment, almost like a nervous chuckle.
Ramis will laugh.
She says, my husband and I were wed 20 years ago. Our anniversary is coming up quite soon. She says, this dress always reminds me of when times were happier. And she continues to stare at the dress with melancholy.
What made him happy?
What made him happy?
There were
was
never
wine.
good times.
There was wine once.
Oh yeah, there was wine at it.
Oh, duh.
And Lydia processes that question very quickly. You see it happen and she processes it quickly and she immediately perks up and she says, oh no, times are plenty happy now. And she begins to unhinge the wooden mannequin from the base that it is standing on. And she says, oh, I must go visit my brother. I must repent for my moment of unhappiness that you saw there. And she laughs again nervously. And she says, have you all been to the church?
Not
Was
the
that-
monastery, right? The church. Church is
The
different.
town church.
I don't think we've been to the town.
No.
We have been
That-
far too happy to find it.
Wait, that wasn't the church with the vampire kid in it, right?
No,
that was
No, that was in
That was
another
the
town.
church
Okay.
in the village of Barovia.
Lydia has
Okay.
told us once to visit this church that her brother is at.
Yeah, so the church, yeah, that her brother runs. It's on the very, very western side of town, and as you came into town, you passed by it, you passed the church, and there was that boy digging graves in front of the church.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've passed the church many times, actually, at this point. You've seen it. You know where it is. You've seen its size and its stature.
So she asks, have we been yet?
Mhm.
Ramesh will say, no, but we have very much wanted to. Shall we accompany you?
She says, if you would like to go today, I am headed there anyways. She says, but we must make haste. She says, I gladly offer you this gown, but I fear that my husband would not approve of this act. So you're understanding why she's moving quickly. She's telling you that she doesn't want her husband to know
Hmm.
No,
Know that we're
she's
taking the
going-
dress or going with her to the church?
Taking the
that you're
dress.
taking the dress.
Okay. Cool.
Well,
I'm down to follow her there.
Yeah,
Go with her.
Lex, no time like the now.
Like the now.
Ramesh will try to help her get the dress off of the mannequin, whatever.
I will just pick up the mannequin with the dress on.
Just start carrying it.
So Zug picks up the mannequin and starts carrying it either, how are you going to carry it, underarm, overhead?
How large is it, or how tall is it? I guess the mannequin is.
Um,
Is it solid
probably
wood?
like 5.5 feet.
Is it solid wood?
Yes.
Will I need a strength check?
No.
Underarm.
Okay. Underarm it is.
So, do be careful. Ramesh will try to like follow behind him and make sure he's not like creasing the dress and stuff.
Or banging it on every corner.
Smudging it on everything.
Yes. So, okay, you grab the dress underarm, trying carefully to not smudge it. And you bring it down the stairs, out to the house, and Lydia starts to lead you down the street. She's nervously looking left and right to see that the path is clear.
Clear of her husband?
Clear of
Husband
something.
just lurking around?
Although actually, before you guys leave, before I just usher you on out of there, let me take you a step back here. Actually, I forgot that I wanted to ask you guys all something today before the session, and I forgot about it, which is a little bit of character backstory that I want to collect for something. So each of your characters is like shaking my legs.
What?
Focus, Danny.
Yeah, like focus.
It's like grabbing my thighs and like shaking them.
That's his job, is to distract you, and you need
Exactly.
to focus.
She's,
That's the
she's not
DM.
doing a very good job.
It's working.
She's folding under pressure.
Okay. So Syndra's backstory, she basically lost someone very close to her. She actually, I guess, technically lost two people very close to her, her husband and Demon Child.
Mhm.
I am curious to know from each of your backstories about either someone that you cared deeply for that you lost, or someone from a time long ago that reminds you of something important.
Interesting.
You guys have people like that in your backstories? I feel like you might have.
I had like a really fucked up backstory.
I think you all have weird backstories.
Yeah.
I think
had
Zug
something
was
done.
like a soldier.
Yeah, at a garrison.
I
you
was
know,
like from my alchemist guild.
So yeah, so give me a little bit about, if you have it, someone close to you that you lost. And if not, someone close to you that you have not seen for a long time that was very important to you. No one?
I guess I could have a friend that was in the garrison that treated me with kindness as everyone else treated me sort of badly. Because he could be dead. You said you lost.
Yeah, I think it doesn't have to be, but that
Does it help?
it would be higher ranking.
Okay. Well, like say I lost him in a skirmish, and that was one of the reasons, like the last reason for me to stay at the garrison, because he died in a skirmish.
Okay. See. I have Zug notes.
Sug notes, one line. It just says wine.
I gotta take some character notes. Yeah, you guys have good character sheets, so I don't usually. All right. And what was your friend's name?
I want to name him Gary.
Gary?
Yeah.
Gary from the garrison?
Mm-hmm.
Harrison Gary.
Okay.
Do you call him Gare Bear?
Gare Bear. Gare Bear.
I'm not smart with
Gary!
nicknames.
What about Ramis and Kane?
Like, do I have to have had a good relationship with this person?
Not necessarily,
Oh, okay.
but
Probably come
implying
up
like
with something
someone
on the
you
fly.
lost usually implies that like you cared about them.
Well, it was like a mixed relationship.
That's okay.
It's
I'm
like,
gonna say Kane had a wife at one point in his past, and he lost her. Since then, he put all of his effort and all of his attention into the alchemy guild, where
Ooh.
he has since tried to prove that he is one of the greatest alchemists of all time.
Hmm. Ooh, what if Kane was like a necromancer trying to bring her back to life? Creepy.
Woo!
It's thematic.
What the fuck?
I never named this person, so I have to make a name for them now.
Okay. You don't have to even name them if you don't want to.
Hmm.
But I want to use something here in the story. Actually, I don't need yours.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to ask you guys about this. Sorry, I wanted to incorporate something here. So, as Lydia is continuing to unhinge the mannequin from the base before Zug snatches it up, you all notice the glistening mirror. You guys remember what happened last time that you interacted with that mirror, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
bad news bears.
The mirror is glistening and sparkling. And as each of you looks into the mirror or looks at the mirror, you each see something entirely different. Zug sees his friend, the only friend who treated him with respect and kindness, in the mirror. And his friend is smiling at him and looks as warm as the day that Zug last saw him.
And this is as Lydia is trying to unhinge the. So we're all just kind of sitting around, and I just catch this in the mirror.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sindra sees her late husband.
Oh God.
He's standing tall, facing her in the mirror. His eyes appear to follow her. And he looks remorseful. Cain sees his wife, young and beautiful. She is looking at him with love and affection. Ramis sees a handsome, pale man with jet black hair, wearing a lavish embroidered red coat.
Do I recognize this man?
Not exactly, but the image of the man who is smirking at you and nods, almost as if he sees you as well, does look eerily familiar to the portrait that you have seen on the Electrum.
Strahd?
One might assume.
Uh-oh.
So as everyone's like, I guess, seeing these images,
Kind of staring at this thing a little more shockedly.
I wanna look to the rest of my party, and I assume they're all looking at the mirror right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna point to the mirror and say, "It's Gary. Gary, my friend."
You see your friend Gary, Zug? Who's Gary?
My friend, Gary,
Friend!
Oh,
from the garrison.
Kane's trying to put two and two together. He looks over at Sindra. Sindra, do you see Gary as well?
From the garrison.
I would kind of whisper back, I don't. I see my dead husband.
Interesting.
What do you see?
I'm seeing my late wife.
can
Something is not right here.
What's
mean,
Lydia
he's-
doing while we're all enraptured?
yeah,
Oh,
that's what
sorry.
I was gonna ask. Yeah.
He's really
Ramis wants
struggling
to
with
look
that
at-
mannequin.
She's still working on the mannequin.
He's struggling. This is why I helped her in
Hasn't
the
even
first
noticed
place.
you.
I thought Zug was helping.
No,
Well, that was before. Now we kind of.
I don't even think Zug was helping before. I think he just
I just
picked it
grabbed
up
it.
after.
Yeah.
I think Ramis will just walk towards the mirror, like transfixed by if he, especially if he starts to recognize this as potentially the man who was printed upon currency in his pocket.
Mm. So as
What?
you approach the mirror, the man's image follows your movements and
Follows or mimics?
no follows. Like he's
He's, like,
just
watching.
he's watching you. He's not like moving like
Huh.
you.
Yeah. okay.
No, but he's following and he's watching you and he's staying affixed to you and observing you. And he's looking at you like a let's say like a cat that sees another cat.
Its pupils are really big.
Hackles?
It's like curiosity, caution, and dominance.
Murder.
Hmm.
Can I touch the surface of the mirror?
You can.
I
It's a
touch it.
physical object. So you touch the mirror.
Yeah. What does Gary do?
As soon as you touch the mirror, Gary ripples and his image fades, and you're left looking at yourself again.
Does the
If
image-
I was looking at the mirror at the same time, would my person disappear too?
No,
Okay.
just Zog's.
Huh, okay.
I think Remise will try to message this person,
I'm gonna look behind the mirror.
and Remise magically will whisper,
The mirror, who's holding the man, he smiles, and I need a dice.
Uh-oh.
I can also roll for you. You want Digi or Fizzy?
That's all right.
You want Fizzy over Digi? Oh, that was barely a roll.
What is you need to roll a saving throw.
What? Of what?
Wisdom saving throw.
No, that's not good.
Wait, you have to just Ramis?
Just for me.
What did you do?
5.
Uh-oh.
You regard this man as a trusted friend who is to be heeded and to be protected.
Uh-oh.
Can I see what's going on with Ramis? Did he visibly demonstrate anything there?
You notice that Ramis is moving towards the mirror, but you don't really see anything else. There's not really a physical
And I
effect.
saw Zug touch the mirror, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would do anything.
But like, is he doing anything for me to like change what I'm doing? Because I would still be like, "Who are you?" Right?
So you ask, "Who are you?" And he's smiling at you, and he says, "Do you not recognize me from the coins?"
Remise will like, "You do this, Bob, isn't it?" I thought it was you.
And he says, "It is I." And he says, "I've been watching you, Ramis. I would love to invite you to dine at Castle Ravenloft with me." And
Yes.
you feel very compelled to accept his invitation.
So this is all telepathic. This is all message, I think.
You are speaking. They cannot hear him, but you can.
But I just mean like I was messaging before. Am I still messaging, or am I speaking out loud?
You are speaking. Like if you asked, "Who are you?" Yeah. Did you? Sorry.
I
did you-
use message.
Sorry, I totally did not hear that part.
The target and only the target hears. And only.
Then yeah, this will be a whisper that only you hear.
Okay, I think I'll be like, yes. Are you in Ravenloft?
He says, "I am. Come find me in the evening." It doesn't say this evening. It says in the evening.
In the evening. All right, it's a vampire.
Mm.
I shall come.
He fades away.
But,
You shall
what's
go
the-
where, Ramis?
How do
Who
I
are you
get past the
talking
guards?
to?
No, wait. What's your number?
Text me.
Gotta get your digits.
Okay, so Ramis trusts this person, feels protective. Does that make me distrust my companions?
No.
Okay.
Um,
I think Ramis will stand there staring at the mirror and say, "It was Strahd. We must go to him."
Go to him where?
He's at the castle Ravenloft.
Well, duh. That's where we're trying to go.
You just asked me where, I'm telling you.
You're not trying to go to Castle Ravenloft. I don't know if you guys remember, but when we spoke with Ez about this, she suggested we steer clear until we're more prepared.
He has
Oh.
the warmest presence. He's most hospitable, I am sure.
Is that what Barovia has convinced you of so far, Ramis? Warmth and hospitality?
Well, perhaps outside of Strahd's domain, the castle itself, it is like this, but maybe there it is better.
Mm-hmm. I suggest before we go anywhere near that dreaded castle, that we discuss this with Ez.
done. Lydia's got the mannequin unhinged.
She's just been in the back.
I'd like to ask her really quick. Lydia, this is a very interesting, unique mirror. How did you come upon it?
She scowls and looks at the mirror and she says, "This mirror has been in my family for generations."
Have you ever noticed anything unusual with it before?
No, it's just a beautiful mirror.
That it is. Shall we get you to the church?
Yes, let's make haste. She nervously chuckles again and begins to lead you all out the room. Zug with the dress under tow. It's an A-line dress. It's not super poofy, so it's easy to carry.
Ramis will try to hang alongside Kane as they walk. Be kind of between him and Kane. He's like, "I think Strahd is trying to help us."
You think Strahd is trying to help us?
He's the only one we have not talked to yet. What do we know? He is all evil.
No, I don't suppose we do. Though most of the evidence we have come across thus far suggests that he is far from benevolent.
Maybe towards his enemies, sure, but I don't like my enemies.
I fear that he finds us as nothing more than toys to play with here, and we are simply in his playpen. Or his prison.
He looked
Perhaps
me in
they're
the eyes,
one and the
Kane.
same.
He said he wanted to meet me.
I'm sure he wants to meet all of us.
Ramis will keep walking.
You guys make it out of the house and head past the giant gourd outside, as well as another flyer to the Hallowed Eve harvest. And just in case, if you guys ever want me to read the flyer again for you, just know it's always an option.
She really wants us to hear about this flyer again.
Well, she has it
You
memorized.
read it. You were here when she read it the first time, weren't you, McKenna?
I think so. Pretty sure it was.
Sounds like maybe you're unsure. Maybe you don't remember what the flyer
I think
said.
we need to hear about this flyer.
Please
again.
read me the flyer again.
The flyer reads as follows. Come one, come all!
This is a loud flyer.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's in all caps.
Ramis just like immediately flashes through it.
Regular village crier.
Cruise
To
control.
the greatest celebration of the year, the hallowed eve harvest. Attendants and children required. Rain or shine, all will be well. Signed, the Baron. And just if you guys ever want to hear it again, just
Keeps
Right.
trying to
No.
convince us that it's the greatest festival of all time.
Okay, so as you reach the outside of the house, you see Ez, who is waiting patiently. She appears to be reading something, and as you approach, she puts it away. You meet up with her, and she nods to Lydia and thanks her for allowing your group to borrow the dress. And Ez looks curiously at the rest of you, like, what's happening? And Lydia continues to like move forward.
Ramis will follow and say, we're off to say many Hail Marys and praise be to gods. Come.
And as like gets close enough to Ramis that she can lower her voice, and she says, I did not take you for the God-fearing type.
I think Ramis will laugh. And then under his breath and say, Strahd has contacted me.
He is in love with me.
Invited me for cucumber sandwiches.
Um,
I believe we have been wrong about his intentions.
as furrows her brow, and she turns to
Does
Sindra.
furrow his Cain's brow?
she
Deeply
turns to
furrowed.
Sindra, and she like whispers, what's happened?
To Sindra or to Ramis?
To Sindra.
Oh, Ramis hears this, obviously.
You do hear it.
I would let her know that we all saw something a little bit unusual in a mirror at the burgomaster's house.
And then she turns back to Ramis and she says, and you saw Strahd.
He was standing in the mirror. It looked as though we were in the same room. He appeared very close. He was watching me. He
And-
addressed me by name.
Did he know? And she says, what makes you so sure that Strahd is well-intentioned?
I can feel it. I have a sense about these things. I know people. I am a bard.
She squints her eyes. And she nods her head at you, understandingly. And then like
Then she
turns
comes.
away. She turns away and she's just like, you guys continue to make your way down west to the western side of the gate. It takes you about less than 10 minutes to walk to the western end of the town, where you see the large church. And the church is a slouching, centuries-old stone church that has a bulging steeple in the back, and walls are all lined and cracked. They're lined with cracked stained glass windows that are depicting pious saints.
Pious?
Did I say
Ah, yes.
pious?
You said Pious.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay. We
Like a Toyota Pious.
Like a Toyota Prius. Sorry, I'm like reading and looking in 3 places at once. A fence of wrought iron encloses a garden of gravestones next to the church, and there's a thin mist creeping amongst the gravestones. Less creepy than when you came in last night.
less creepy?
Yes.
In what capacity?
The mist is less creepy looking. The mist was very, very thick and moved almost with
Malicious intent.
Mm.
malicious
Malicious mist.
unhappiness. It
The
moved
girl
with
is the
malicious
mist.
unhappiness.
Put it in the stockades.
The young boy that you saw is outside once again, and this time he's planting in the graves, in the graveyard that is right outside of the church.
Well, yeah, the soil's all fertile now.
Yeah. As you all approach, Lydia greets the boy, and she says, Milivoj. She says, you've been working so hard lately. Have you not taken a break? The boy looks up from his gardening. He is wearing tattered clothing. He's quite brawny, and his brow seems to be permanently furrowed. He greets Lydia and he says, Morning, Lord's blessing, Lydia. And he says, yes, well, there is much to be done around the church, as you know. And he bows his head and goes back to his work. Lydia walks up to the church entry and she opens the door. And inside, this church looks very similar to the church that you saw in the village of Barovia. It has a very similar layout with bedrooms or various rooms and offices on either side as you walk in, a hallway that leads into the back area that has the pews and has the stage, essentially, the altar.
Mhm.
You see signs on the side of the church depicting that this church is dedicated to the Morning Lord and named after Saint Andral. The church is called the Church of Saint Andral, or Saint Andrew's Church. As she walks into the church, she takes a seat in one of the pews, and the church is otherwise empty. It appears as though Father Lucian, her brother, who she's mentioned by name before, is not here at this moment. She sits down and she begins quietly speaking to herself. You all are just standing there like,
We just started looking around.
Yeah, I mean, we do like a little casual search.
Yeah. Like not hunting for treasure, but noticing where treasure may lie.
Cursory investigation of the area.
Yeah.
So as you inspect the area, you do notice that the layout's very similar. There's a couple of small rooms that have feathered beds and straw beds in them at the front of the church. There's about seating for close to 50 to 75 people in the pews. The altar is large, and the altar is actually displaying a what looks like maybe iron, some kind of metal box, and the box, its lid is open and the box is empty and it's sitting under the altar, which is something that you notice. Within a couple minutes of looking around the church, a young boy walks into the church and is surprised to see you all there. He looks around, and as soon as he sees you all, he says, I'm just here to fetch the shovel. And he like walks past you all very cautiously, and makes his way into one of the bedrooms and grabs a pretty large shovel and heads out the front of the church and brings that shovel to Milivoj. So you guys are sitting in the church. It's pretty quiet. It's kind of bizarre. And the church has sort of a feeling of, what you start to notice as you inspect the walls is that every now and then, here and there, there's sort of cracking, or it looks like peeling off of like the paint or the sort of initial layer of the wall. You notice a few tears, you notice some scratch marks that look like more than just the wearing and tearing of time. You also notice that walking around, actually, let's do, I don't want to do perception. It feels like we always just do a perception check.
Investigation?
Yeah.
Damn it, my perception's higher.
Perception and investigation are just different things.
Yeah, because you are like looking around, and it's like an active looking around. It's not like a passive noticing of something. So we'll go with investigation.
16.
Ooh.
Wants me to
7.
Re-log in.
I got a 20, not nat.
Nice.
Sorry, Google's making me re-log in.
Oh,
That's okay. We don't need you. Sindra passed the DC. Sindra notices a couple of loose floorboards in the main chapel.
Ooh, okay. I would like to go check out those loose floorboards.
So you look at the loose floorboards and they look loose.
I want to try to quietly open them.
You want to pick it up?
Yes. I would like to touch them and move them around and stuff.
Okay. So you pick up, or you shuffle around the floorboards. And upon doing that and opening it, you reveal that there appears to be some kind of room underneath the church, like a crypt, that you can gain access to maybe through these floorboards.
All right, how spooky does it look?
It's quite dark.
Just spooky enough. Can I see inside it with my dark vision? Or is it like super duper way too dark?
No, I think you could probably see a little bit in there, so you can see at least some amount into the crypt area. You don't really see much. It looks dark. It looks like it's about 5 feet. So it doesn't look like it's very large, like 5 feet to the bottom. And it looks like it's about a 10-foot square room, so it doesn't look too large.
Okay.
And you don't really see anything in it.
If I listen with my fancy elf ears, can I hear anything moving around down there? Maybe, possibly, potentially?
You don't hear anything.
I can jump down there if you'd like.
I kind of want to jump down there.
How
Well,
about we
both
jump
down
together?
there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Are you two planning on jumping down there?
Of course.
Can you even see down there?
Of course not.
I can.
Well, Josh,
I have, like,
can't you?
A lantern, I'm pretty
We all,
sure.
we all have dark vision except for Kane.
Zug will not fit with the size of these floorboards unless
Oh.
you remove more.
I will remove more.
Yeah, just tearing up the fucking shirt.
They're really, it's already dilapidated.
It's true. It's already falling apart.
So as you start to rustle around, Lydia gets up from her pew seat and walks over, and she says, "Are you, what's the word I'm looking for?
Are you
Renovating?
Desecrate. Yeah, I was about to
No.
say defecating.
No. I will look at her in the eyes and tell her no. Renovating.
Zug probably
Lovely.
literally he just doesn't know the difference between
And she says, "Okay, well, please be careful."
Of course. As I'm just prying this plank out.
After about 10 minutes of investigation plus prying of floorboards, you hear the church doors open once again and shut. And you hear footsteps that sound much louder than the young boys this time. And as you are literally attempting to pry up floorboards, a man walks in. He's a large man, he's a little portly, he's quite tall, and he's wearing a very long, cream-colored robe. And he approaches the back area to sort of see what is happening. He notices Lydia, and then he notices the rest of the party, and he looks at you all. And he, in a very loud, booming voice, but still like a tender voice, it's just loud, he says, "Is there something that I can assist you with?"
What appears those
Young
struggling
man.
with those floorboards over there, you may need to give him a hand.
I dropped something between the planks. I am trying to fetch it. As casual as I can. Like, this is a normal occurrence that I lose things in between planks.
The man walks over closer to you and he says, "I see that you have found the crypt of the church." And he says, "Do not worry, there is nothing underneath there. Not anymore."
More, you
Except
say?
for whatever it is that you dropped, Zug, of course.
Of course. Is it wide enough yet? Like, I would assume like 2 or 3 planks would be wide enough for my
3
body.
planks will be wide enough for you to get through.
Okay.
And you can see down into the crypt now, and it looks dark and you don't see or hear anything.
Okay, can I jump in now?
Yes.
Oh shit.
You jump into the crypt and your chest, shoulders, and head stay above the ground.
You said this was like 10 feet.
It's 5 feet deep. It's like a 10-foot square, but it's only 5 feet down.
Oh. This is not really a
Just
crypt. This is
standing in
just
there, like
this is
sheer
a
up.
coffin. This is a coffin, not a crypt.
You
Is
can
there
duck.
yeah, can I duck and see and describe what I
Yeah.
see?
So you duck in, and with your dark vision, you can see the walls are gray and dirty, and the floor is dirty as well. It's mostly just a dirt floor. It's just been dug out. You see slight remnants of what looks like you almost see what looks like the remnants of some
Body.
how do I want to describe it? Like something has been here recently, so it doesn't look, it looks like something was like freshly removed from the ground area.
Hmm. And what traces do I see that are left?
The dust in certain areas looks a little bit like more piled up. And in one area, in like a couple foot square-ish area, it's not a perfect square, it looks like there's just less dust around there. So it looks as if something has been sort of taken out.
Removed. Okay, so there's no like other physical objects, no.
No, you see some cobwebs
Bones
and there
or-
are a few bugs in there.
Quick thinking on Zug's part, I will grab a bug and I will scan back up
Found it.
and raise it above my head and say, I found it. I lost this bug. And then crawl out.
How long does that book look like it was down there?
Is that really what you do? I lost this bug!
5-second rule, man.
Do you eat the bug?
I will eat it later when no one's looking. I still
the time
have
you said-
some shame. Remember, Danny, I have 4 intelligence.
A bug. The man looks at you absurdly perplexed. And he says, do you mind? And he points to like the planks that are just sitting there.
Do I mind?
He scans the rest of you to see if any of you show any sign of this being odd behavior.
Remi's just shrugs.
You look completely unfazed.
They're so dead inside, they might as well crawl back in. I'm like, oh,
This
the,
is like
the planks.
this is like when people
Right.
see the gang from It's Always Sunny and they're not part of the gang and they're just looking at it like, wow.
Yes.
I will attempt to put the planks back in place. But as I do, I lose the bug. I drop them.
He sighs and approaches the altar, and he closes that open metal box. And he goes over to Lydia and he begins to chatter with her quietly.
I'm gonna tell Sindra that I didn't find anything in the crypt. Only that it looks like something large was removed.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, you guys can stay at the church if you want to. It seems like Lydia has no intention of leaving anytime soon.
You can pray if you want to. You can leave your bugs behind.
But if you can't plank and if you won't plank, then you
Earlier
preach
when you
to
were
mine.
talking about the wall, you said that there were some like cracks and tears and scratches and stuff that didn't look natural. Can I investigate those?
Yeah, so you see some some sort of tears that look a little bit bizarre. And you see what look like claw marks from something that has claws. And you also kind of see some, I want to say, some markings that look like maybe even like something, it basically just looks like some chaotic event has occurred in here. And there are like little scratches and tears and cracks in the paint on the walls.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really as much as you can tell.
Okay. I would point those out to the group.
Mm.
Be like, do you think we should talk to the father, or have we irked him enough today?
I'm just gonna say I should not speak with him.
I don't believe I've done anything too horrible to the father. I could be convinced to go have a small discussion with him.
Cool. Sorry, it froze for me.
What froze?
I only heard the tail end of what Kane just said, going to talk to the father.
Oh,
Yeah, but in very Kane-ish fashion said that I could go speak to him.
Cool. Sounds good. Let's do it.
I think as Kane takes his leave from the group, I think Ramis will lean to Sindra and say, ask Lydia why she wanted you to visit the church in the first place.
Okay.
Harking back to way back when we first heard about the church from your sandwich date.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Is Lydia alone at this point, or is she with Kane and the father?
She's still chatting with the priest.
Okay.
The priest.
They seem to be immersed in some sort of conversation.
Okay. Kane, do you want to butt in and steal the father away so I can get Lydia?
Yes, I will do that.
Excuse me, father. I have a few questions, if you have a moment.
He nods and he says, I would be happy to answer whatever questions you have.
Excellent. You do seem like you would be quite knowledgeable in the area of expertise for which I have questions.
You're such a good grandpa. Let me tell you about
I'm trying.
sewing fur into wedding gowns. Oh wait, did I have a question for you? I don't remember.
My memory's okay. I'm just hamming it up real good.
Yeah, so which conversation do you guys want to have first? Kane's conversation with the father or Cindra's conversation with Lydia?
Sindra's is going to be way more interesting. We should do that.
Doubt it.
I'll tell
That's
you
gonna be
right
like
now.
real fast.
That's what you think.
Oh.
What? Oh, okay. All right then.
Ooh, ooh.
Okay, I guess I'll
I
You
guess it's your
approach
turn.
Lydia.
I'll tap Lydia on the shoulder and be like, "This is a very interesting church. Why did you want us to visit this place in the first place?"
She says, everyone should visit the church.
Fair enough.
Cool. Okay, bye. Just kidding.
She's super religious.
Is this one of your favorite places in town?
She says, yes, my brother. And she points to Cain and the priest.
Mhm.
Father Lucian, he does beautiful sermons here every night.
Every night? That's interesting.
His things have been a little bit tense lately, he tells me, but overall, the townspeople find a lot of inspiration by coming here.
How long has he been a father?
For quite some time. He was a priest by the time that myself and my husband were married.
Damn. Okay. I'm not really sure what else I should ask her. I mean, like, she's religious. She said to come to church.
She's
What?
like
What?
your
Brothers
grandma
there.
that's like, go to church.
Yeah.
But she only told you to go to church. Does she think you need to repent?
I thought she told all of us. Was it just me?
You're the only person who was at the.
Didn't she need to confess that she had a moment of unhappiness and she had to go to the church like immediately?
Yeah,
Lydia did, yeah.
that's what she
Oh.
came for right now, anyways. Was to repent for her moment of unhappiness.
So is this the same faith in Chris? No, that's the Rising Dawn. This is is this like the Morning Lord or something?
They're the same.
They're the same.
The Morning Lord.
I was like, they sound very similar.
Yeah, so there was a statue, there was an altar to the Morning Lord in Krez. That's the altar that you guys fucked.
We fucked an altar?
I don't remember that.
Fucked it up.
Okay.
You remember that.
Mhm.
The altar like came crashing down because you inhibited Sergey.
Oh, that wasn't us. That was like the wrath of Strahd fucked it. We didn't do that.
Excuse me, Strahd lover.
Yeah.
But no, Sergey and Irina, or Sergey and Tatiana's love was interrupted and the altar crumbled. And which was like your fault.
No.
But yes, that was an altar dedicated to the Morning Lord. And this church is dedicated to Santa Andrew, but it also has mentions of and refers to the Morning Lord. Yeah. So over to the conversation that Cain is having with Father Lucian. Father Lucian begins to ask you a couple of questions. And Father Lucian says, what are you doing here in the town of Valachi? You don't seem like the type of folks who would be in town. You seem like the kind of folks who would be out seeking adventure.
Well, we've only been here a very short while, haven't we, Father? What's to say we have not had quite a bit of adventure so far?
He says, Also, hold on. Cain, are you good aligned or are you neutral aligned?
I'm chaotic good. Hold on, let me look.
I think you're
Feel
good.
like I might be neutral. I think I'm neutral. Chaotic neutral? Shit, I'm looking. I don't remember. It hasn't come up.
I think you are chaotic neutral.
I'm chaotic good.
Yeah.
My character sheet.
Oh,
Chaotic
I
good.
thought Ken and I were the only good ones.
Yeah, I'm chaotic good. There you go.
Um,
I don't think I've done anything particularly against my alignment.
so, no. Father Lucian lowers his voice a little bit and he says, your lot seems to have an adventuring sense as well as the ability to investigate.
He like nods at Zug.
Are you making reference to my friend over there?
Yes. There has been an incident here at the church and I'm quite worried. Where your friend just was, in the crypt, I have secretly been hiding the bones of Saint Andrew. They have lived underneath the church and they have protected the church. The church
Sorry, go ahead.
says the church is now at risk because somebody broke into the crypt several nights ago. That is why you saw those loose floorboards. And they stole the bones. I was for quite some time the only person in Vallaki who knew about the bones, but I did mention it about a month ago to the young altar boy to put his fearful mind at ease and let him know that the church was a safe place. After the bones were stolen, I asked the boy if he had told anyone else about the bones. He was very fearful and he nodded that he had, but he would not divulge a name. I've been very reluctant to pursue my search as I am not the investigating type. My duties here at the church are to conduct the sermon. I do have my suspicions, however. He says, the lad outside, Milivage, is quite temperamental, and I know that he takes issue with things here and there. I would ask maybe that you might question him and see if there's anything that you could find out. It would be absolutely of the utmost importance to get the bones returned to the church as soon as possible.
What's his name?
Whose
What'd you
name?
say what did you say his name was?
Milavash?
The boy outside, Milivage.
Milivage.
He's the boy that's been working in the graveyard.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Shovel guy.
I fear that confronting him or reporting the theft might just be distressing news, and I don't wish to ruin the Burgomaster's festival.
Yes, very well. I can have a discussion with the lad. But I came to ask you some questions.
Ah, yes. Please, proceed.
Tell me more about these bones you speak of.
He says, yes, the bones of Saint Andrew. They are what protects us, protects the church, and makes us invulnerable to Strahd's attacks.
Invulnerable to Strahd's attacks, you say? How so? These bones prevent Strahd from interacting with you in any capacity?
The bones create, the bones make our church hallowed ground. And Kane can perform a Arcana check.
Arcana check, you say?
And my computer is about to die.
Well,
so-
I rolled a 9.
Oh,
So you have no idea what
Caney.
that means. And
Caney
we
Caner.
will.
Wouldn't it be a religion check, though?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
We will postpone the rest of our conversation until next time.